The second I was about to hit record on this video, I just got a message from my wife. I'm down in the studio, she's in the house, asking me if I've used this studio verse before, because she just got a message about it. She got it updated in her feed. She doesn't do anything to do with audio. She listens to music, but has probably never heard of Waves plugins, let alone this new subscription thing that's kind of come out, which shows how widespread it is, which shows how everyone is talking about it. It's worth a video. Let's take a look. Subscription models aren't all bad. I don't dislike subscription models as a rule. I use subscription models for a couple of platforms, and in general they kind of work. But the thing that those subscription models have is they allow you to choose whether you want to subscribe or whether you want to buy these plugins outright. Now, Waves plugins have always had this weird kind of business practice, this weird kind of middle ground where you buy the licenses perpetually, but then you don't own them forever because you're at some point going to get forced to upgrade, which is kind of another point that we're going to get onto. But I don't feel like everything that Waves do is bad. I don't feel like this complete subscription model is necessarily 100% bad. I just find it very, very weird. Waves are probably one of the last companies to get in on this subscription model. You know, so many of the big players in plugins have done this, and it's been met with kind of varying degrees of acceptance. Those who have kind of done it from the start, if you look at Slate Digital, who kind of allowed you to buy the plugins, but very, very early on they were on the subscription model. Everyone just kind of knows that Slate plugins, you subscribe to it and you get all the stuff, all the Slate Academy and all that, and no one really has a problem with it. But you can still buy their plugins perpetually. You can still buy them, and they're always going to be on your system as long as your system can run them. But your system means something different in Slate world than it does in Waves world. So in Slate world, it means as long as your computer can still run them. In Waves world, it means until they force you to go through that Waves update plan, until they ask you to update that Wave shell thing on a Mac at least, until they kind of force your hand and make you pay that extra. This is where the kind of weird middle ground comes in, because subscription models are not necessarily completely terrible. Perpetual licenses are not completely terrible. Each of them have their upsides and downsides, but I kind of feel like if you've got one of them, then that is your choice. If you don't want to pay recurring payments over the years, then you shouldn't have to do that. And if you've got a perpetual license, then that means that you're not doing that, except it doesn't mean that in terms of Waves. Waves have always had, as I say, this weird middle ground where you have to pay to upgrade, or not necessarily even upgrade, but you have to pay to stay on what they think is the best version, on the newest version. And you do get some new features in these new plugins. Maybe there's updated graphics, updated processing, I don't know, but that's not what you paid for in the first place. You paid for the 2016 version, or whenever you bought it. The 2023 version should be your choice if you want to upgrade to it or not. If you need all the bells and whistles, then you'll probably upgrade. If not, you shouldn't be forced to do so. And that is where the problem lies with Waves subscription model. If I go to the Waves website, then I've got all the newest, most spoken about stuff. Everyone's going on about the Magnitude at the moment. But you'll see start free. Start free, start free, start free. There's no way of just saying I want to purchase these plugins anymore as of March 26, 2023. There's no way of saying I want a perpetual license, I don't want to keep giving you money, I just want to buy this product. And that's weird. That's a very strange way of doing it. I can't think of any other plugin manufacturer, maybe you can, that doesn't give you the option to either go subscription or completely outright buy them. And this is where the problem lies. There's two issues here. You don't have that choice anymore, and if you made that choice in the past, that choice has kind of been taken away from you because you've got to do this Waves update plan at some point. If we take a look at this creative access, we take a look at what they're actually selling us, then scroll down to the bottom and there's some frequently asked questions. But the problem is, these frequently asked questions are the questions they want to answer. Do I get all the plugin updates at no extra cost? Yes, as long as you keep paying the subscription. Is Waves Creative Access the only way to get Waves plugins now? Yes, it is. If you purchased them previously, you continue to own them at the latest version you had prior to the launch of Creative Access. But that's only until Wave Shell or whatever it is the operating system forces your hand to update. You've still got the old version, but it just might not work anymore, which has kind of always been a problem. If you update your operating system, then certain plugins don't work. Okay, we're kind of used to that. But if you update your operating system, that's your choice. You're consciously making a choice to say, I'm going to download this operating system, and whatever happens, happens. You're not getting your hand forced by the plugin company saying you must be on our latest platform to use these plugins. Therein lies the problem. These frequently asked questions are questions they want to answer. The real question that should be down here: will I still be able to use all my plugins regardless of any kind of business model that Waves decide to take on? And they won't answer that, because the answer is no. Now, I'm not a massive Waves plugin user. I never have been. I kind of see them as those guys. You know, I've never really been a massive user of them, in the same way as Pro Tools has always been kind of that industry standard, for the reason that it was so adopted early on, and it kind of is the industry standard because it's the industry standard. There's no real rhyme or reason. It has the same kind of features as a lot of other programs these days, so it just is used because a lot of people use it. Nothing against Pro Tools. But Waves, to my mind, is kind of the same thing. Like, previously they bought out the plugins that were the first in the plugin world that could do this third-party kind of stuff. But now there's no, dare I say it, no real reason to use Waves other than you're used to using Waves. There's nothing really that they do that is completely unique. I think a lot of other plugin manufacturers kind of cover all the bases that Waves cover. If you're looking for some free alternatives, your DAW probably has a load of stuff included in it. If you're a Logic user, then you've got the vintage EQs, you've got the compressors, and loads of stuff in there. If you're not a Logic user, if you use whatever DAW you use, then you can check out Analog Obsession. They do some fantastic plugins that emulate the same kind of stuff that the Wave stuff does. And I really don't think there's a plugin in the Waves catalog, in the Waves library, that you can't cover elsewhere, either paid on a perpetual license that is genuinely perpetual, or on a free plugin. So, to sum up, subscription models are not all bad. I don't despise them. I think that in some scenarios they can work, but I don't think your hand should be forced. I don't think you should be told this is the way you're doing it and there's no other choice, especially if you're already invested in that kind of ecosystem, especially if you've already put money into these plugins in the first place. To have them taken away is not the way to treat your customers.